Look, I'm not saying that you should buy from Jet Blasters. I'm just saying you should buy a CEDA from Evike because they already have them. Usually, when I get packages in the mail, they don't fundamentally change how things work. But to kind of catch you up on a story here, the Dart Zone Pro was essentially an answer to the original Jet Blaster CEDA, which I don't think anybody actually thought was a great blaster. People who pre-ordered the CEDA waited a really long time for it because of production delays and whatnot, and it just never worked right. This is a CEDA S that was sent to me by Evike and Jet Blaster, which I definitely appreciate, and I don't know what I expected because I already had a Dart Zone Pro, but the CEDA S is really flippin' good. Normally I wouldn't just do a direct comparison, I'd just do a video on the CEDA S and boom, we'd be done, but the fact of the matter is this was based heavily, at least very inspired by the CEDA. And this is the upgrade of the CEDA. And there is another Dart Zone Pro coming out, the Mark 1.1, which fixes a couple of the issues the flippin' stock with the original Dart Zone Pro, but is also far more accessible. So if you bought one of these, you might be feeling kind of stung because now you can get one for cheaper that's in arguably a cooler color. I don't really know how else to say this. If you are seriously considering buying a Dart Zone Pro Mark 1.1, the kind that's available on Target.com that you can pick up for $150, which kind of spits in the face of everybody who bought one of these, you might want to really pay attention to this video, because the CEDA S is really flippin' good. But the original CEDA wasn't very good. I didn't even bother trying to pick one up, and none was ever sent to me, so I never did a video on it, and I've never even held one until Evike and Jet Blasters sent me a CEDA Model S, which is the upgraded version that fixes a lot of the issues with the original CEDA. In fact, being sold on Evike.com fixes a lot of the issues, because you don't really have to worry about production delays or shipping or anything like that. It's already in the US in Evike's warehouse. You can order it from them and have it in a couple of days, so right there, that's a big solution to a lot of people's problems. And then, if you count the fact that this thing right now, at least the blue version of this on Evike, is $65 or $69 and normally is $89, and you could buy two of these for the price of one of these, it wouldn't matter, right? If this was not as good. Except for flippin' is. I say this with almost no hyperbole, but this is one of the most accurate dart blasters with its own included ammo. And those aren't even good darts. So Zach is here in his amazing pink pants that I'm totally jealous of. I needed to get a second opinion on the CEDA S versus the Dart Zone Pro and whatnot, and I reached into this bucket trying to fill up actually that little pistol right there, and I pulled out this dart. And I absolutely love that this is a thing. It is glued on both sides, and I swear to Crom, I did not do this. This was not a plant, but this is perfect. Everything about this dart is flawless that I've ever had. And the funniest part about this is, I believe this is only hitting about 110 to 125. It's supposed to be hitting 150, and I kind of talked to a guy, and he mentioned that there might be something wrong with mine, and I mean, we can take it apart and I can show you, because it's really easy to take this thing apart. But even then, I'm still extremely happy. In fact, this is preferable. I would use this in like an HVZ with a 130 cap or something instantly. This blaster is dumb accurate. Katana mags with brand new Jet Blaster darts in a CEDA Model S. First shots. I wonder if the sight that Evike put on here is actually sighted in or not. Well, I just had one decapitation already. Two decapitation already. Three, 4. Oh no. kind of breech load this? Well, it's extremely accurate, I'll give it that. Oh, these decapitations, though. You know, I'm still pretty pleased with that accuracy. That isn't bad at all. All right. Now let's see how these things look flying through the air. I'm a little curious, but after 2 mags, 30 darts, I had 6 that the heads flew off on. So let's see how they withstand being shot again. Wow. This is one of the most accurate blasters I've ever fired. That is not a joke. Any deviation is most likely my fault. This thing is hitting pretty much where I want it to every single time. We're gonna have to actually go out there and see this group because this is rather impressive. Wow. Let's head out there and see exactly what happened. So, as you can probably tell, this is where I was shooting a majority of the darts. And that is very impressive. There's a couple that landed all the way out here. Some farther shots. Everything went pretty much completely straight. Right there is where it's standing. You can kind of see the rifle and the tripod. That is... I'm going to have to bust out the Dart Zone Pro because for a $90 blaster right out of the box, I'm extremely impressed. So, this is the next day, and there's something I want to confirm before I say something stupid. And this is the Dart Zone Pro, and this is basically just a comparison of how the darts fly through the air. These are the same exact darts I fired yesterday. Not so much the distance, although, I mean, if it's close, it's close. Authorize. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Aha. Aha. Now, you might not be able to see that, but these darts are not going straight out of the Dart Zone Pro. They are whirly birding. Pretty substantially. In fact, they aren't even going, some of them are. that one just fishtailed and went about, I don't know, 20 feet less. Okay, I think I've gotten my answer now. At least with these darts, I want to make that clear that these are not what I would call optimal darts by any means. Interesting. It is easy to use, it is comfortable, it is flippin'. It is so good. It should be noted that the CEDA Model S is kind of just a Retaliator on steroids, very similar to something like the Prophecy or an overhauled Retaliator, while the Dart Zone Pro Mark 1 or 1.1 is its own kind of different beast, but it's one of those things where if you've like played League of Legends for a long time and a lot of things really annoyed you, and then you went and played Dota, and you realized all the things that annoyed you about League of Legends was fixed in Dota, and Dota was the original game, therefore everything they changed about League of Legends is probably something that wasn't good? Yeah, it's kind of like that, because, wow, this thing is well designed. I mean, seriously, if I want to strip this thing down, boom, I have access to pull out the plunger tube, the plunger head, the rod, everything. I can completely change the internals of this blaster by pulling out two pins that are different sizes and they don't stick out that much. What do the pins do in my Dart Zone Pro again? I think they kind of hold the front end on and you can take them out for easy travel, I guess? This is far better.
By the way, this is in no way a shill for my Patreon, where $5 a month or more gets your name on my workbench for all to see. It's more of all of my videos recently have been me standing in front of my shelving and not actually at the workbench, so the people who paid for this kind of haven't been getting their dues, and I felt bad about it. But let's kind of show what the CEDA can do. And right there, that's actually something I want to point out. It is very, very easy to prime, mostly because it probably has a weaker spring, but that is something to keep in mind compared to like the Dart Zone Pro and a lot of other blasters out there. But we'll take out this thing, we'll take out this thing. They are two different sizes, so you can't possibly mix them up. This is going to come completely off, or you can just pivot it. It doesn't really matter, honestly. Inside here, you've got your, well, bolt sled, everything you possibly need. This is pinned, so to remove this, you would need to kind of unpin that. So actually, I guess it's a tiny screw, so that's a little bit better than a pin. That is technically doable. I kind of wish like maybe the grip would have had like a screwdriver thing built into it. That's an idea for the next one. But you could just unscrew these and take that off and you could completely replace everything. One thing I would like to note is that the front of this right here actually has like a piece of softer plastic in order to absorb some impact when the bolt sled is traveling forward, which is really cool. That's really going to help once you get those metal internals on there. And that's the rest of the blaster, the parts that actually matter. And to be perfectly honest, there we go. It's actually just kind of bending out the plastic a little bit, and there's your entire blaster, field stripped, ready to go. Mine, this is kind of a full free-floating kind of thing. It's supposed to stick there with like friction. That's actually a little bit sticky. Not as much as it could be. I'm going to add a little bit more grease to that. I was told that could be one of the reasons why mine doesn't hit as hard as it should, technically. And I could also add some tape under this O-ring because there's a lot of room underneath this O-ring for me to get a better seal. I'm not going to bother with that right now, unfortunately, because I actually really like the FPS that this thing's hitting right now, but that is how easy it is to take this blaster apart and put it back. I just realized that other spring I have might work for this. I might actually be able to upgrade the spring because I got a spring that's very similar to this in black that could be stronger. You can't get to the catch or anything in there. It's like a Delrin catch and whatnot, but if you wanted to fully disassemble a blaster, you totally could and replace that with a metal one. Probably not a good idea with the plastic plunger rod and whatnot, but it is literally that easy. And for a lot of you, that's going to be really, really important because if you want to take this to multiple games and not have to worry about having multiple blasters or completely disassembling your blaster, this is one of the reasons why you would have something like that, because it is seriously that simple to completely change out your internals.
It should be noted that this thing came out of the box, as in the shipping box, with this red dot and this stock on it, and this is the stock that comes with it, and it's pretty garbage. I'm not gonna lie, this stock is pretty bad. It's functional. It slides all the way out, but it stays in perfectly fine, so I don't really have a whole lot of complaints about that. You'd probably be fine with it. You can get a good cheek weld on it, but they stuck this stock on there because guess what? This is a standard M4 buffer tube stock. So if I wanted to put on a different M4 buffer tube style stock, I can just put it right on there. And I have changed my stock to anything I could possibly want. This is like a cheapo worker one, and it works. The other worker one I have doesn't work. I guess it could if I shaved something down. I think the stock's just misshapen, but there's a lot of different things you can do, just like that. So it's like one of the biggest issues with the Dark Zone Pro is fixed immediately, because if you don't like the garbage stock, at least it comes with one. Get whatever one you want. But we're gonna put this one right back on there because this stuff is so much more comfy. Even though it's a battery stock and this doesn't use batteries. Ergonomics-wise, this thing, I believe you can replace this with whatever you want. It's a bit big for my hand, which is probably perfect for a lot of other people out there, but it's still perfectly serviceable. I pull it usually with my index finger right there, and that makes things a lot better. And I can deprime the blaster. I can't do that without dry firing the Dark Zone Pro. And you know what really annoys me is this double paddle thing being set up right here. I don't actually know who likes these magazine releases, and if you do, power to ya. This just looks awful to me. Not only does the CEDA have the coolest mag release ever, in my opinion, just kind of pull on that right there and completely drop your mags if the bolt was pulled back. It also still has the paddle if you're using like one of the included katana adapters, because yes, this one, at least the Model S, is set up specifically for short darts. There is an Omni one available as well. It's a little bit cheaper when it's not on sale. That will shoot both short darts and full lengths, but if you're using a blaster like this, chances are you're probably using short darts anyway, so... And again, this thing's like way less money. You can get two of these for the price of one of these, or God help you, one of the 1.1s. Yes, because if you buy this for $69 or $89 or whatever, yeah. And I should note, I am going to bring this up, quality-wise, like construction build-wise, this thing is a heck of a lot better. The Dark Zone Pro is way better. Rubberized grips, rubberized stock, again, that doesn't matter because this one is too, but stock, you know what I'm talking, stock, you get it. It doesn't flex nearly as much. This thing flexes all over the place. I mean, there is some quality differences right there, but for a lot of you, that's not going to matter. And honestly, you could change just about everything on this blaster. I mean, I don't think they have different grips and stuff you can get quite yet, but the grip comes completely off, so you can swap the grip. You can 3D print another one, I'm sure. The bag release, if you wanted to change that, you totally could. The priming grip, you could change that. Heck, you could probably change the entire upper, so that's one of the reasons I typically don't like modular things, because while this thing is completely modular in like every single possible way, there's really a tough argument for that when it makes everything so creaky and flexy and ew. And at least in this scenario, my Dark Zone Pro does hit harder. Much harder. It's about 150 most of the time, 140 to 150, so it's kind of hard to complain about that too. So first things first, I'm using a Talon mag inside of the Dark Zone Pro with the Jet Blaster darts. Not exactly a super fair comparison, but I believe in the Dark Zone Pro here because it does not like darts that are not its bamboo darts. But let's find out here. This is with the metal barrel, pretty much stock how the Dark Zone Pro comes. 73, but I think I hit the side of the crony. 5, 15, 22, 23, 27, 21, 30, 21, 92, 90, 95, 15, 91. I'm going to chalk that up to the fact, again, this blaster does not like anything that isn't its own darts. Next up is the CEDA S with a katana magazine. Yes, this will take Talons. I just can't find my Talon mag adapter. And your printed derivatives, I'm not entirely sure, but I assume it could. 124, 84, 25, 11, 26. One was those a decap, that's why. Nice one. 16, 133, 135, 96, 19, wait. And I'm out. So I'm going to chalk most of that up again to me hitting the chronograph because I'm kind of at an awkward angle here, but typically I'd say anywhere from 115 to 130 is about what you'd expect with the CEDA. At least this one, but I watched Naptown's review and he was getting kind of similar numbers. It's supposed to hit 150, whatever that means. Except for the CEDA's way cheaper. If I wanted to get better internals for the CEDA, it would cost still less than one of these. I could take my CEDA, shove a better spring in there for 10 bucks and have a much better blaster. And of course, there's all the crazy cool kits that Jet's gonna be putting out for it, like their Alpha, Omega, whatever. And look-wise, I vastly prefer the CEDA. Ergonomics-wise, I think I vastly prefer the CEDA for some reason, even though this doesn't nearly as nice of a grip. The shape of it works a lot better. The stock I can choose with whatever I want. this nice little AK style slope thing on it really works well for me. I mentioned the magwell is like extremely loose. That's a good thing because you can drop mags out of this thing without even trying. And unlike the Dart Zone Pro, this thing's pretty much capable of using any short dart you want. The Dart Zone Pro doesn't really like worker darts, doesn't really like anything that's not its included bamboo darts, which are excellent darts, but I don't want to pay 30 bucks every single time I want darts and get a bunch of full-length darts I probably won't use. But with this, I can get the darts that it came with, like the Jet Blaster darts, I can use worker darts, I can use the bamboo darts, I can use basically any dart and get good performance. But I think the most important thing, if there's anything you take away from this video, finger over the muzzle. It's got 100% air seal out of the box. 100%. It is flawless. I can't even build a Talon cloth that does that. That's me, obviously. Lots of people have 100% air seals on a lot of different blasters, but that means it's running at peak efficiency. And this already has an expanded plunger tube in it, so you don't need to worry about replacing the plunger tube when the one in the Dart Zone Pro isn't quite expanded. I hate to say it, but if you're seriously considering getting a blaster like this, like a Dart Zone Pro, and you are hell-bent on getting the Dart Zone Pro Mark 1.1, and I'm not going to talk you out of it if you want the ergonomics, if you've held a Dart Zone Pro 1, you went like, yeah, I really like that, and you want to pay double the price for that quality, that's perfectly fine. But for most people out there, I'm going to say most of you, if you're looking at getting a blaster like this, check out the CEDA Model S. I'm not being paid for this. Yes, they sent me the blaster, and a couple of other things. Yeah, you guys don't really watch my channel very much, do you? You might have watched at least one video, maybe looked at one of the thumbnails before sending me out a large shirt. But I gotta say, I actually almost fit in this thing. Like, that's no joke. You don't even see my belly. I can almost fit in this thing. That's incredible. And the hat's got little things on it. It's got a doggo and a handgun and a Evike logo. That's pretty cool. These hats don't fit me though, unfortunately. That's the reason why I wear the one I do, because like this hat is deep enough for my gigantic oval head. These caps don't fit. But every little design choice that the CEDA has now, like even like where the slot is right there for like your sling and stuff like that, so you can hold. It's all amazing. It's all really good. The CEDA Model S is so much better for the most part than the Dart Zone Pro, and for a cheaper price. And there's way more upgradability to this. Now, if you hate the look of the, you know, upper, lower, all that kind of stuff, there are derivatives that are going to be coming out. Alldos actually showed off a pre-production sample of a blaster that's basically licensed from the CEDA, but it's different in a lot of different ways. That's going to be an option for you in the future as well. It's kind of hard for me to say anything bad about this. It's kind of hard for me to say that you should get a Dart Zone Pro over this, because that's why I'm standing in front of the camera right now. I struggled with this video because it really is a much better option for most people. It really is. It's really good. It's powerful. It's accurate. You can make it more powerful. It has tons of upgradability. If you need to go to a war that maybe switches FPS caps, you just want to use the same blaster all day long, swap out a spring, boom, you're good. Swap out a barrel and stuff like that. I mean, there's so many things you can do because it's just 2 pins, completely toolless opening, which is a gimmick until you actually need it. That way you just have one blaster, and they outdid themselves on the CEDA Model S, and I know a lot of you are going to disagree with that, and I know you've already probably dropped a dislike on the video, but if you could let me know your reasoning down in the comment section below, I'd really appreciate that. Because the more I look at this thing, the more I use it, the more I handle it, it's so good, and it's amazing because of how bad the CEDA was, and it really feels like all we were waiting for was a CEDA that actually worked, because at this price point, they really can't be beat, especially if they can put something out this okay. I mean, it's not super great, amazing quality or anything like that, but it's a well-designed blaster at a really good price point with tons of features and tons of upgradability, and I don't see the reason. I really don't. I'm not going to say it's like super amazing, more durable, you know, compared to the Dart Zone Pro, but my god, if this is a redemption arc, this is one of the best. Alright, maybe not as good as Gintoku from Kamen Rider Build, but it's pretty close. Definitely check out down below for a link to the CEDA Model S. Let me know if I was completely wrong about this one, because I struggled with this video. I did not expect this video to go this way. My first firing footage I did live on camera, and I'm blown away. And this thing apparently isn't even up to snuff. Like, it's supposed to be hitting harder, and I'm glad this one hits where it does, because it's perfectly usable at like Ragnarok Oktoberfest and stuff like that. And it's accurate, and it's fast, and it's like the all-around good blaster, because it doesn't really do anything super great, but it doesn't do anything bad either. And that blows my mind. I thought I was going to trash this thing, and I'm really glad that I never got my hands on the original CEDA, because that's probably how this would have went. Special thanks to Jet Blaster and Evite.com for sending this thing out to me, because I don't know if I would have picked this up even if I saw another review on it, because quite honestly, I already had a Dart Zone Pro Mark 1, I already had a Talon Claw, I already had a Caliburn, I already have dozens of Retaliators and Modified Retaliators and Prophecy Rs and stuff. Like, I really just didn't have room for another one of these, but yet I have a feeling if I ever need to use one of those blasters, I'm probably going to be using one of these. I would like a shorter one. I would like a much shorter, you know, less plasticky, more barrel sticking out the front, cut down the mag well completely to accept only, you know, short darts. That might be, that might not be too economically viable for a company, but I would like that, and maybe it's moddable to do that, I'm not quite sure, but it's great. I love it, and I have a feeling me and the CEDA here are going to be good friends from here on out. Thank you very much for watching this video. I am, of course, Walcom S7. Let me know what you think, and if you watch this video this far in and you happen to like what I do, hit that like button. But otherwise, I hope to see you in an entirely different one.
Can't you see I'm blazing? Still my heart is blazing. If the words kill me, I don't need a new world over you. My time is my word. Your words will never let me disappear.